So today we're going to talk about composting. I'm going to show you how to compost, and we're going to talk about why composting is so important. So on our earth, we have a limited number of natural resources in the ground, and we need to protect those resources, otherwise they're going to run out. So raise your hands if you've heard about composting before, so that I know that you know what it is. Okay. You have heard about it. So it's really important that we reduce the amount of materials that we use, we recycle things, and also, if you can set up to compost. Now, what compost does is it takes, I have right here a container of food waste from our kitchen, and my youngest son, Robbie, about a month ago, set up a composting pile in the backyard because he realized how much waste was going into the garbage and was then going into landfills. So we thought this is a really good thing to do. And originally I was going to bring you outside and show you the composting pile, but since it's not so nice outside, I brought a little bit of it inside so I could share it with you in the house. So I'm going to hold this up for you. This is what, can you guys see? This is what some of the composting soil looks like. And I can hold it up like this too. Let me just make sure you can all see this. Raise your hands if you can see this nice dark soil. Okay, so what we do is we add these food scraps, right? So this is a little bit of onion, spinach. Let's see what else we got in here. We've got some cauliflower, orange peels, apple cores are really good, Brussels sprouts. We've got little ends of potatoes. These are basically all the scraps from yesterday. So we add that into the compost pile. Now, you can make one of these in your backyard, which is what we did, by just digging a hole into the ground, putting the food in, and you guys can see this okay? So I just want to make sure. Let me, actually, I'm going to prop this up a little bit so you can see it a little bit. Actually, maybe turn it around. Okay, so now the other thing that's really good, once you put in your scraps of food, you can add leaves, twigs. These are some dried up pine cones, little twigs. And what's really good to do is to break these things up into small pieces, because then it's easier for what we call the decomposers to break everything apart. And so we add that. Then what we can also add are pieces of grass cuttings from the yard. That can all go in there as well. And then from the sides of the pile, we put the dirt back on top so that everything is buried in this pile under the ground. And we do that so that large animals won't get to the food that you're composting. Now, the other thing, let's see what else I have here. I have some leftover popcorn kernels, from last night's movie watching. So I'm going to add that too. And then we put some water on the top. So you want it to be moist. And then every day, it's really important to rotate your compost pile. And what that does is that lets the air get in so that the organisms that are breaking down your food have some air. And there are things that you can buy that that you can put your compost in a drum and then it will rotate. You could rotate it, or you can just do it in the ground as we decided to do to keep everything all natural. Now, let me see what I'm going to do with these nice, clean hands. The thing about little scientists is we're always doing things with our hands. And to me, the dirtier it is, the better. So I'm going to show you a couple of containers. If you don't have a place in your yard that you want to do it and you want to do a small composting in your house, you can use a plastic deli container. You should put a couple of holes on the bottom and then do basically what I just did here. You can put the whole thing within that container. And again, you want to have holes in the bottom and then store it in a place where it's outside in the warm weather, and then you can bring it inside. And you want to put it on a tray so that the extra water that you've put in there can come out the bottom. You can also use a bottle, but again, you want to have the drainage there. So if it's glass, you need to put some rocks in there. If it's plastic, you can put holes. Let me, does anybody have any questions for me yet? Raise your hand. Audrey, you both have questions. Okay, excellent. Let me take some questions.
You can unmute yourself, Audrey, okay? Here, I'll do it. Can I do it for you? Let's see how I do it for you. I should be able to unmute you. Okay.
I did.
There you go. We can hear you.
But why can the big animals not get to the food?
Well, if you bury it, right, and you put grass and other things in there, and you put it under the ground, if you don't really want to attract big animals into your yard, because then they might want to set up a home there. So I wouldn't encourage that, especially it depends where you live. But I know there are some bears that have been sighted up in Woodbridge. So we want to not encourage the large animals to come. Now, small animals like worms, those are great for your composting. Microorganisms are great because they're going to help break down all this material and turn it into good soil. One other thing that I should tell you, Audrey, is you don't want to put any meat into the composting pile. And the reason for that is because that would attract the large animals. You also don't want to put any dairy or eggs in there. And what about plastic? do we want to put plastic like this into our compost pile? What would happen if I put this in the compost pile? Would it break down? I can't hear you. Are you muted?
Maybe animals would eat it and then they would swallow it and they could get hurt.
Yeah, and the other thing about plastic is that it's not going to degrade for a very, very long time. So we really we want to try to use as little plastic as possible. That's why all the grocery stores stopped using plastic bags, and it's better for us to use paper. I see Audrey has some paper there, and that's the other thing that you can add. You can add paper. You can take that scrap paper or junk mail, cut it up into small pieces, or rip it into small pieces, and you can add that to your compost pile.
Rude had a question, Heidi.
Yep.
Rude.
Hi, Rose. Let's hear from you.
Plastic is not healthy.
What's not healthy?
Plastic.
Right. Plastic is not good for us, other animals, or the environment, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let me show you some plants that I have growing here. Okay. So these.
Heidi, Rose had a question earlier. Can you stand back a bit and explain why we need? Can you go back one step and explain why we need compost? Ruth had that question earlier.
Oh, sure. Okay. That's a great question. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Okay. So we need composting because how many planet Earths do we have? We have only one planet Earth, right? And we need to do everything that we can to protect and save our planet Earth. And composting is one way that we can help protect our Earth, because it takes all of the things that we usually put into garbage and waste, and we can put that, keep it in our own backyard and use that to make great soil that then we can grow our own fruits and vegetables in. Do you understand? Okay, great. So this is an egg carton container, okay? Everybody see it? Okay. And this egg carton container is a good way to plant vegetable plants and fruit plants, anything that you want to grow. So you guys can go into your refrigerators. Oh, you have another question. Okay.
I'll just check it.
I have.
Can you say that? Can you say what we planted here?
So we planted here. They're the same. They're all the same thing. They're peppers from different colors.
Wow.
Amazing. Beautiful.
That is fantastic. And so did you take the seeds from inside your own pepper and plant those?
I planted those.
You planted
my-
those seeds.
And my dad helped me.
Wow, that is fantastic. And so you can, when they start to grow a little bit, these are from some radish seeds that I planted 2 weeks ago. Radishes grow really, really fast. And so there's too many growing right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate them so that they have all the room that they need. And once they get a little bit bigger and the ground is warm enough outside and it doesn't get cold at night, these can go outside. Yes. You have another question?
Me and my dad and my sister and my mom planted a lot of things.
That's excellent. Audrey, 1 second. So I just want to tell you that all those things that you planted, if you have a garden outside or inside, all this composting, this will make really wonderful, healthy soil for you to continue to grow all of your plants with. I think Stacey has a plant that she's growing. She
Look how
wants to
fast
share
this
with
lettuce
us.
came up. I just took the bottom of it and put it in water just for an experiment. Somebody said, oh, lettuce grows fast and I want to grow romaine this summer. So I just put this in water and it already became romaine to put into the ground. So it's pretty, I mean, plants are pretty miraculous.
How long ago did you put that in the water?
A week. Well, yeah, a week. A week.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
wild.
That is fantastic. Wow. Okay, Audrey, you have a question?
I have my own garden outside. I have 2, and today we're gonna plant carrots in it.
Yay.
Wow. And so those carrots, have you been growing them inside?
No, we got them yesterday, but the bag said to soak them for 24 hours.
To soak the plants?
The seeds.
Soak the seeds for 24 hours? Okay. So Audrey, what you should do is you should plant them in an egg carton, or you could use, I have my little scientist paper cups, plant them in something like this inside and let them grow a little bit and then put them outside, okay?
And
Why?
why?
Why? Because it's still, the ground is not quite warm enough, and it's still getting a little bit cold at night. So it's better if you bring them in at night. During the day when it's nice out, you can bring the plants outside. And I would wait and let them get a little bit bigger. So let me show you. So this is biodegradable, so it can go right into the ground. But because we want to separate these plants because there's too many growing here together, you guys can see all the roots. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my water, I'm gonna put this in some water so we can actually separate some of these plants. And then we're gonna replant them. Do you guys see the roots on the bottom of this radish plant?
Yes.
And so the radish actually grows in the ground. So I'm gonna take it, and you see how we had about 20 in one? I'm gonna put just one plant into one spot in this egg carton. And in about a week, one more week, like on Mother's Day, all these plants can probably go outside, but they'll be a little bit healthier and a little bit stronger than just the seeds.
And I also have another question.
Okay.
So we have a bird's nest outside.
You have a bird nest outside?
We have a bird's nest.
That's great.
And
So,
it's been here for a week, and the eggs are bigger because when I was at my grandparents' house once, we saw a robin's egg that was on the ground. It was super tiny, and we cracked it open. But the baby was dead.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we still
Yeah, it
have
wasn't in its
robins.
nest. Okay, they're
It
trying to
wasn't
teach you
really
about the
actually
compost.
in its.
These are all good comments about nature.
Beautiful. We love hearing. And Ruth, did you have a question too?
Yes. So I made a birdhouse outside.
Sounds like your families are really into nature. It's so nice to see, right?
Yeah.
Heidi, did you have anything to sum up so then we could stretch a little like a plant ourselves? Anything else you want to?
People.
yeah, so I think what we want to, one comment that I have about the bird's nest is you want to be really careful not to touch the bird's nest, because if you do,
The bird will fly away and
yeah,
leave its eggs
might
there.
leave you dead, so that won't be good. And I'm gonna so show you the rest of these radish plants that are starting to grow, and we're going to separate these out like I showed you that one and plant them all separately. So we'll have about 100 radish plants that'll be ready to go into the ground. So just to summarize, everyone, I'm so excited to meet you and to learn about the wonderful things that you're doing with gardening in your own houses and helping to save our planet by thinking about maybe starting a composting pile in your own backyard. And if you want to learn more about Little Scientists, come to our website. We're posting every day on Facebook and Instagram some experiments you can do at home to learn more about science. And that's it for our part for today. And I think Stacey has a story that she was going to share with you guys about saving planet Earth and the importance of composting and recycling. Any question? I see a hand up. Wait, we can't hear you. One second.
Reu, did you have a question?
Yes. How are you a scientist?
We didn't hear you.
Can you hear us? She asked if you are a scientist.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I am a scientist, and let me show you my little friend here. Usually, yeah, I don't know if you can see her, but she's got a little lab coat on, right? And so yes, I'm a scientist. I've been studying science for most of my life since I was about your age. And then I went to college and graduate
Stay here. She's finishing. Audrey.
to become a scientist. Now what I do is I teach children to try to help you guys learn all about science so you can become the next great scientists out there.
So Heidi will be back because on May 24th, we're going to do a program talking about water and how it's connected to the Jewish holiday of Shavuot. And so I hope you'll come back because at the end of May, we have a holiday that celebrates nature and also celebrates the receiving of the Torah, but also celebrates a lot of things about the world that we live in and we're all aware of. And both of you have many more questions, so I guess we'll go with questions, Heidi. So go ahead. Who didn't go last? Who went last? Audrey, it's your turn.
My birthday's on May 25th.
Oh, wonderful.
Wow.
Re'ud, last question, and any other comments, let's keep them quick.
What was the question?
What was I gonna say?
You forgot?
Yeah.
Forgetting is also part of it. Actually, let's take one big stretch like a plant. Everybody up on their feet, stretching high like a plant. Reaching your hands like you're growing like a plant. Just stretch for a minute. A big stretch in the air like you're a growing plant. Really giving it high, like even pretending that the sun is coming down on your body and helping to water you with the beautiful sunshine that you'll see today and the rain. I'll take a deep breath in because I want to do some Earth Day, some poetry for you about the Earth because first of all, Audrey, do you also get PJ Library books?
Yeah.
Okay, so both of you are PJ Library families. I don't have all the books in my house because I'm not in my office. Heidi, did you want to say goodbye to everybody or you want to hear our Earth Day poem?
Everything you have to say about Earth Day. Yeah.
Okay, about the Earth in general. So
Yeah.
actually, this is a younger book I see some of you had younger children, a PJ Library book called 10 Things I Can Do to Help My World. And there are all kinds of books that I don't have all of them, but I have a beautiful book that is about the Earth and they're poetry that I bet you girls can help me fill in some of the words because the words have a rhyme and they're beautiful about the Earth. And this is called Our Big Home. It's an Earth poem and it's by Linda Glazer and the art is by Alyssa Clevin. So I saw some art in your back virtual, Audrey, but this is some really beautiful drawings that I see you guys doing art too. So I hope you'll draw about the Earth. So we all live here, people, ants, elephants, and trees, lizards, lichen, turtles, and bees. We all share the same big home. We share the water, we splash and swim in water and drink it, and the whales and the dolphins and the manatees and the penguins and the palm trees. We share this water here on Earth. It is our big blue home. Look at these beautiful illustrations. Here comes, we're gonna get some rhyming things after this page. So listen up, so let's see if your ears can listen to rhymes. And see if you feel how the rain slides down my nose and trickles between my toes and cleans the world. It waters the forest of giant trees and wakes up life in the tiny seeds. It brings fresh water to you and me. We share the rain here on Earth, which is our green, growing home like we talked about. Growing our home with plants and trees and taking care of it with compost. Okay, you ready for the rhyme? The sun warms us all around the world. Sunflowers, sparrows, apple trees, foxes, ferns, you and me. Warm fingers and warm toes and warm roots and leaves on Earth. And there's dirt all around our Earth and our ground. The soil where the seeds await and where the trees are born. The earthworms live and the rabbits dig. Earth holds life under my feet. And we share that soil here on Earth. Everywhere, far, far, and even next door, we breathe the Earth. Doesn't it feel good to breathe? People, lizards, and ladybugs, oak trees, sweet peas, and weeds, sharing here on Earth. The wind whooshes and whirls, and it sweeps and it swirls. It stirs the grass and shakes the trees. It carries the rain and it spreads new. What are we talking about today? What is it? Trees and what does it spread when they're in the ground? It spreads the seeds. Awesome. I know I'd have some good rhymers here. It brings the fresh air and it blows the kids. What happens to your hair when it gets blown? It blows your hair because it's the wind that we love to feel. All around the world and the wind touches us here on Earth in our big whirling home. Look at the illustrations of the whirling. How cool is that? The sky, our huge changing picture up there. I love our sky, don't you? The great sweeps of blue and the dabs and swirls of cloud and the wild splashes at sunset. Wherever we are, we look up and we see the sky here on earth in our big home under this beautiful sky. Here comes another rhyme. The night when the stars sparkle in the deep, endless deep. The hushed time when we sink into, what rhymes with deep? What do we go into at night? Deep and?
Sleep.
Yep, that's it. When the night animals roam and the night flowers bloom, we have a time of darkness here on earth, in our home, under the big blanket of night. Look at your pretty illustrations of that. I guess you guys will hopefully be inspired to draw me some trees, and even send them if you can take a picture and put them on Facebook. I would love to post your pictures. Our moon travels across the sky, a creamy pearl, a thin white sail. The full moon, the new moon, shaping our night. We share the same moon, here, there, and everywhere on earth, in our big moonlit home. When I stretch or dance or hop or laugh and leap in the air or lie down in the, what's the word? When I dance, I lie down in the, kind of rhymes, grass. Laugh and grass, actually. When I hop or laugh and leap in the air and lay down in the grass. The spiders and the snakes and the earthworms and the bats, we share life, every one of us on earth, in our big life-giving home. We share the air, the water, the soil, the sky, the sun, the rain, and being alive. And we share our home here on earth in our precious living home. So enjoy taking care of your home, the earth, and planting and exploring today in the sunshine, and telling you all that I appreciate you being here today. And I see the sun peeking out, so I hope you'll get outside. And thank you so much, Dr. Heidi. And make sure you check out all of her summer programs, because there's not going to be a lot of camp, and there's a lot of things you can do outside this summer. We're going to figure it out together. I see another question, Audrey, or no? Is that just stretching an arm?
No, it's not. It's a stretching.
Now let's all say shalom. Everybody knows the word shalom? Shalom, and I'll see you next time on May 24th. We're going to learn about water, okay? Bye, everybody.
Bye.